Hi, welcome to yet another video on Python. This time we're going to talk about basics of Pandas library. So, hi, my name is Manu, and I'm going to take you ahead with this topic. So, Panda, Pandas is one of the most used library in Python, specifically when you talk about data and data manipulation. So, it's a Python library and mostly used for data analysis. You can do all these things and much more using the Pandas library, which include importing data, something like finding correlation or doing some statistical analysis between two or more columns of the data, finding some mathematical or statistical calculations like average, max, mean, minimum, doing some basic aggregations like average, maximum, minimum, so on and so forth, and also performing data cleaning. So these are some basic functions that pandas can do, and then there are a lot of other things that can be done. So let's go there step by step. So first of all, before you use pandas, you would want to import pandas into your Python code. So assuming that you have already installed pandas, if not, you can follow our videos on installing a library using the pip command. So once you have installed, so you just need to import the pandas. So this is how you import the pandas library, by writing import pandas, and then you can do various things using the features available in pandas. For example, I can use the data frame method of pandas by passing the arguments like this. Now, writing pandas, or for that matter of fact, any library, if you have to call that library, like in this case, we have called pandas here after importing it here. So if we have to type the full library name again and again, it becomes tedious. As a matter of fact, if the library name is large, for example, let's say matplotlib, then it's very cumbersome to type the entire name. So in that case, we use the alias, and in this case, in the case of pandas, we'll say import pandas as pd, where pd is its alias, or in simple words, something like a nickname. So that next time you call pandas in your code after importing, you just refer to the alias, right? It's pd, so you don't have to write the full name. So that's the way you use the alias. Now, pandas has two built-in data structures. One is known as series, and the other one is data frames. So in this video, we are covering very basics of this, and then as we proceed further, we will get into details in next few videos. So series is like a column in a table, right? So if you have a tabular data, just imagine a column. So series is something like that. It is a one-dimensional array holding data of any type, right? So a one-dimensional array and holds data of any type. This is a code to create a series. We'll demo this quickly on the code window. Now you can, if you create a series, you can either specify the index or the label, uh, or you may not specify it. If you don't specify, like in this case, then automatically the index or the labels start from 0, 1, 2, 3. So if, let's say in this case, I have a series red, blue, yellow, so automatically it will get index 0, 1, and 2. And if you uh, pass it in this command, so using the index keyword, then obviously it's going to take up the index or the labels that you have passed in this formula. Try to understand series once again. So here you see we have imported the pandas and given it a nickname or a alias as pd. So if I run this code, I import the library into my code. Now creating this next is I'm creating this list A, and let me just run this. So now this A list is done, and then in the next line I'm saying my series 1 is equal to pd.series. Please note the capital S. If you write small s, it will throw an error. That's how you write it. So if I run this, I get a series, my underscore series 1, and this is how my series look like, right? And since I have not passed the index, it has automatically taken up the index as 0, 1, 2, 3. Next, we're going to use the same list, A, 10, 20, 30, 40, but this time I'm passing index like this in square brackets. And if I run this, then you see this time the index is 1, 2, 3, 4. Previously it was, like you see, it was 0, 1, 2, 3. Automatically, when we did not pass the index, and when we pass the index, it takes up those index values. In pandas, let's talk about data frames. Data frames are the most used data structures or feature of pandas. So let's talk about the composition. It's a two-dimensional collection of data, which means it has rows and columns like this. This is an example of data frame, and these are the rows and these are the columns. Rows are obviously having row labels or index, and columns have headers. Data is stored in rows and columns in a tabular form, as you can see, and it is mutable and heterogeneous. Mutable means data inside it can be changed. For example, I can change some data points here. And heterogeneous means it has different data types. Like in this case, this is text. Over here, this is numeric. So it can have multiple data types in the same data frame. Rows are labeled with index, like this one, and these are auto-generated if not defined, just like in the case of series. And columns have labels like this, which are actually the headers, right? The headers, if you're importing an Excel file or a CSV file, the headers of that file. So you can create a data frame in multiple ways. The most used ones are, you can create a data frame using the data frame keyword. Please note the capital D and capital F, right? And then you can create a data frame either from a list, tuple, or dictionary, right? You can also create data frame using a read underscore CSV command, and this will create a data frame from a CSV file. And there are other methods, but let's concentrate on these only. Let's also talk about the data frame axes. So data frame has two axes. X is equal to 0, which is for rows, and X is equal to 1, which is for columns. So if I create a data frame over here like this from a dictionary, and if I say dfax0, which means this one is coming from X is 0 of the data frame, and this is coming from X is 1 of the data frame. I'm passing X is 0 and 1. Don't worry about the code. We're just doing a demo on the axis as of now. So I will get a data frame here, and the axis would be this one, axis 1. And if I'm summing across axis 1, I'm getting a sum like this. So you see axis 1 is actually summing across columns, right? So if I say axis 1, so this is giving me sum across by adding columns for each row. And if I say axis 0, like this one, if I sum it around axis 0, I'm getting sum by summing the rows per column, right? So that's how axes work in Python. This is one of the arguments in most of the formulas that data frames use. So understanding of axes is important. So let's first try to create an empty data frame. So to create an empty data frame, you'll say PD. You've already imported the pandas library PD, and you will say PD dot data frame D capital and F capital, and these blank. So blank bracket. So this will create an empty data frame. So if I run this, so I get an empty data frame df. This is an empty data frame. Now I can create a data frame from a list. So if this is a list, I can pass this list inside the same pd.dataframe, and then I get a data frame from a list. So df underscore list is my data frame coming from this list, which had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the as element of the list. See this one? Okay. Then likewise, you can create it from a tuple. This is a tuple. So just same thing. Define the tuple and pass this tuple inside the pd.data frame and again you'll get a data frame from tuple. Then you can create a data frame from a dictionary. So this is a dictionary, and again passing the dictionary inside the data frame, I get this over here. So I get a data frame from this dictionary. Now to demonstrate the access, we have this data frame. So this is a data frame underscore access underscore demo. So if I run this, I get a data frame like this, right? And if I say df, this is basically a variable df ax0 and again df ax1. So if I sum it across x is 0, right, and if I sum it across x is 1, so let's have a look at all these three. So this was the original data frame, right? And then this is T, that in this data frame, I'm getting, if I say along x is 1, which means along this, so I'm getting these added 4 plus 8, 12 plus 11, 23. And if I'm saying along x is 0, then I'm adding like this 1, 2, 3, 3, 6, like this 6. Then this is 22, likewise. This one is 50. So that's how your axes work in data frame. And we have just given or used the example of sum. In Python and Pandas data frame, the axes can be used to do calculation along using various other functions and formulas. So that's all for Pandas data frame, the basics of Pandas data frame and series, and how we construct them. And for more, we will talk in the next few videos. Thank you so much.